Welcome to Highway to Helms in 3, 2, 1.
Another day, another dollar as I holler to the world. I love the way I'm living, love the Gucci, love the girls, love the parties and the clubs, love the models and hot tubs, love the German engineering set on deep dish dubs. Another tour around the world, entertaining the fans. I love walking through the airport, taking pictures, shaking hands. Every day for me's an oyster, crack it open, find a pearl. I love the way I live is what I holler to the world. Wake up in my bed and I'm feeling kinda stuck from this Tempur-Pedic mattress. I don't wanna get up. Roll out of bed, plant my feet on the floor. There's a girl.
Welcome to this week, and I should not even say this week anymore since we're doing a couple of these a week now. Highway to Helms. To my immediate fucking left, we got, as always, my co-host Mike on MySpace Yamaha, and you saw the bear picture. I will always put that bear picture up there until you give me a graphic that is worth a damn. You and this dead bear will forever be on the introduction to Highway to Helms. Over 1 million downloads on iTunes, and now we are available to the Android market and all other markets that have a computer as well. Go to ShaneHelms.com for all the information. The sponsors, as always, highspots.com. Any wrestling paraphernalia, DVD, merchandise, whatever you need, highspots.com is the warehouse to get those things. They help me out with knee pads, elbow pads, all that sort of items. Also got to thank Figure4Apps.com, the makers, the creators, the inventors of the only pro wrestling iPhone app still out there. That's how far ahead of the curve I am. I'm so far ahead of the curve, you can't even see the road no more. The Shane event. Also, with those apps, we got the I'm a Fight Fan. MMA fans, MMA fighters, this is the event locator for you guys. The I'm a Wrestling Fan app, same concept, but for wrestling fans. The I'm a Racing Fan app, same concept, but for NASCAR, Indy Racing, and I'm a Comic Con fan. Same concept, but for Comic Con fans. Also got to thank RF Video for producing the Shane Helms shoot with a 98% positive rating.
98, wow.
I don't know who those 2% are that don't like me, but they can suck it. And that's just how it be sometimes. And we got on call, we got on hold, we got on Skype. We're going to bring him in right now. One of my favorite fighters to watch of all time. A guy with a very decorated background, a very decorated performer. We got to bring in Josh, the War Master himself, Josh Barnett. And you doing a little reading there, my friend?
Oh, yeah. I'm just working on my grammar, you know. It's what we do in the hood here. You want to make sure that you put your commas in the right places, and using your semicolons properly, that kind of thing.
You are good with the colons, I've heard.
Oh, yeah. My colon is fantastic. It's clean as a whistle.
Well, very good. Josh, are you in California right now? Is that where you're at?
Parts unknown.
Parts, very, very, very well. I was from Parts Unknown for a very long time. It's amazing that so many people are from Parts Unknown. Like,
I would say that your parts in general are kind of unknown.
I do, and I have unknown parts. That's a very good comment. Well, that's very good, man. Very decorated MMA fighter. Also a pro wrestler in Japan, but not necessarily the WWE TNA style pro wrestling that Josh does over there. It's a very hard-hitting. How would you even describe what you do in IGF?
It's got more of a reality base to it, but essentially, right now at this point, 85% of the time what we're doing is probably strong style, which is the old school New Japan stuff. There's still a lot of pro wrestling element to it, but played very seriously. A lot of aggression, moves pretty quick, hard hitting. The other 10%, I'd say, would be my old school UWFI shoot style stuff, but that honestly is a lot harder to work nowadays because there's not very many people that know how to do that style, know how that ebb and flow works. And and it's not even just a matter of being someone from a fight background or knowing all the techniques, all the holds. It's just a matter of knowing how to work in that arena, at that pace, at that style. And then 5% would be more American style pro wrestling. I don't really do that all too much. Plus, part of my gimmick is being a shooter. So incorporating that into all that I do and making it seem as realistic as possible without actually going out there and breaking things and spilling blood all over the ring is really part and parcel with who I am.
Well, it's not really that big of a stretch for a gimmick for you either. You actually, instead of
it's all about stretching,
as we've seen in pro,
heavy stretch oriented sort of deal.
Like, I mean, because we got guys in pro wrestling and their gimmick is that they're a shooter, but that's literally all it is a gimmick. You having the background that you have, like I say, is not really that much of a stretch. You know, at any point in time, I could imagine if somebody's in the ring with Josh Barnett and things get a little colorful, then it could that match could go down the wrong way on the track pretty quick.
Real quickly and real badly. But the thing about the business that I've experienced so far, I've been working for 10 years or so, is that we all, there's assholes everywhere. That's just
of course.
Given. But for the most part, all my experiences out there, and I've been cemented, but I knew it wasn't on purpose. And I know I've cemented people too. I would say it's fairly rare, and I let people know depending like how stiff we're going to go before we get out there, because I don't want anybody to be surprised and think that I'm just trying to to get one over on them without them knowing about it. So there were guys that were all former Rings UWF guys, and we did these opening matches for a G1 Climax tour, and I think we did eight bouts, maybe more. There's some tags too, and we would go 85% striking, grappling, everything. I mean, we were leaving the ring with bruises and welts and the whole deal. But we had some spots picked out, a few, very few, and then just a finish, and that was it. The rest of it was just free form, and that was rad. But other guys, they weren't. That's not how they wanted to work it out, and also they just weren't that. They didn't have that fight background already. So you just come out there and go, look, dude, this is what I do. How stiff do you want to go? We can go real stiff, or heavier. We can we can pare it down. We can take it in any direction you want to do with it. Moves are moves, man. It's if you're having difficulty building a match because of move set issues, then you're just not a good worker, period.
Right.
Moves are like the last part of the whole equation.
It's very common. Like you'll see guys on the indies that have what they consider a strong style. And in my experience, there's been two type of guys that do that. The guys that do a strong style because they can, and then there's the guys that do the strong style because they can't work the other way, the way that a lot of guys are trained. But then they would come to the WWE or WCW when I was there, and then they got to do this 4 nights a week, and that's when they really tone it down. Because when you're doing it 4 nights a week, if you're out there beating the piss out of each other every night, that career is going to be pretty short.
And you're not trying to give everything away to house shows and things like that. You got to save it for the matches that count. That's when you're really going to turn it up. And you don't necessarily need to go stiff to have a good match, but I know that it's easy for someone to be stiff in the ring and get over. Like just popping someone real hard and the crowd, will react to it. That's cheap.
Yeah.
You should be able to do it better. You should be able to get a reaction without having to just go lowest common denominator.
I got to ask, that you mentioned the UWF. Did you know Gary Albright? Did you guys cross paths, or was he already gone before you were there?
No, he passed away shortly after I got into the business, but I was a huge fan. Suplex machine, Olympic level wrestler, one of the top collegiate wrestlers, and big old huge 300+ pound dude with a beautiful back arch, man. It was awesome watching him go out there and just throw people all over the place, man.
Before I ever got signed with
suplex machine. But,
oh yeah. Albright was awesome. Before I got signed with WCW, I'd sent an application to the UWF, and I gave my little amateur credentials, which are nowhere near, what his were or anybody else in the business. I did, 4 years of high school and 3 years of those freestyle Greco-Roman tournaments afterwards. So I mean, it's better than nothing. But the UWF liked it, but I was really fucking small. And they sent me all these tapes, and I got this big program and all this, and I was watching Albright, and I just thought, and I was I might have been about 160 at this time, and I was just thinking, the last fucking thing in the world I want to do is be in the ring with fucking Gary Albright.
And throw you on your neck.
Because there's no way I mean, he was in there with guys just big, and you could tell they were trying so hard to stop some of those throws, and it just wasn't going to happen. If he wanted to throw you, your ass was gone.
He locked that full Nelson up and just plant you right in the ground.
Yeah, so Kid Vicious never made it to Japan with UWF. Yeah, that was my indie name for.
Les Jacobs was in Fujiwara Gumi doing shoot style stuff a little bit.
Oh, was he? I didn't even know that. Kane, Big Daddy Kane.
Yeah.
But,
and Mike Barton originally trained with. I think he told me that he trained with Masami Soranaka, and he was doing the flow drills and different stuff and the submission work because he was gonna go over and work UWF5, but then they pulled it.
Well, now was that before the Butterbean encounter?
Long before the Butterbean. Well, you know, I have to give him some credit. Butterbean is a hell of a puncher, and the guy, you know, okay, stick Butterbean out there and make him work a match with Mike, and it'd be a disaster. Well, I'm sure Mike could actually carry him all right, but the thing is that Mike's on the road at the time, however many hundreds of days a year, perfecting his craft. Butterbean's in a gym punching stuff and getting punched and fighting fights while Mike is out working. So to take a worker and give him a little bit of time to go in there and fight someone who all they do is fight, it's a lot to ask out of somebody. And he still ended up going back. And the funny is, we're on the road for New Japan, and we're all the guys in riding the Team 2000 bus. And which I guess is like an underhanded way of saying, you're foreigners, so you're bad guys, essentially.
Right.
Mike, I was telling Mike, you know, you can move, you're healthy, you still got some capability about you. You could do a little bit in this MMA stuff. You're a big, strong dude. You like to throw, you're not afraid. Get out there and mix it up a little bit. And he's like, really? I go, you could make some decent scratch doing this stuff. And I'm not saying you should change careers, but it could be really cool. It could be a good opportunity for you. That, you know, the companies would love having somebody that already has a built-in fan recognition. And lo and behold, at some point, fighting Cabbage, and he fought in Pride. And I was just like, wow, how about that?
That's do you remember? You know what we're talking about when Bart Gunn fought Butterbean.
Yeah, Mike Barton in Japan. Bart, what is his name? Michael Polchlepek.
Yeah, I don't even know his real name. I remember thinking I remember even telling my friends, the guy that does the co-host with me sometimes is like, man, this is just a no-win situation for the WWE. I remember thinking that because if Bart went out there and beat Butterbean, and Butterbean is a badass, but in the realm of sports, the respect factor for him isn't as high as it should be, you know, because he does a lot of those tough mans and doesn't do, you know, isn't out there fighting Tyson and shit and all that. So, even if Bart wins, it's going to be like, yeah, so what? He's beating Butterbean. But then I was like, but at the same time, what's probably going to happen is that Butterbean's going to knock his fucking head off because Butterbean is a hard-hitting dude. He doesn't knock all these people out accidentally. You know, I don't really believe in that lucky punch shit. You know, if you throw a punch, if you mean to throw it and it hits, then I don't know. There are, you know, maybe some that are a little bit more fortuitous than others, but he knocks out a lot of fucking people. And yeah, when he hit Bart and then Bart bounced off those bottom ropes like he did, I thought he broke his damn neck. It was pretty vicious, but you know, a lot of people get knocked out, so I would like to see Bart come back from that. But in pro wrestling, it was like, they never would have forgot it, you know.
Yeah, the whole idea was not really all that well planned.
Yeah.
And, you know, Dr. Death gets in there and he gets knocked out. That never really helped that guy out very much. Dan Severn gets in and just takes the guy down over and over and over and over and over again, and he pulls out. I mean, it wasn't well done.
What was why did Severn pull out? What was that about? I don't even remember.
You know what? I think Dan just thought, because you could strike from the feet and you could get points or something for taking people down, but you just got right back up to your feet. So Dan's probably thinking, the hell with this.
Right.
This isn't going to do any good for me. And the likelihood of me getting jaw-jacked by somebody in this thing, because once I get them down, they just get right back up anyways. Forget it. It's not
Right.
pointless. And I've got a lot more to lose as Dan Severn than, say, Steve Blackman.
What is Dan Severn's MMA record now? 225 or
I
something?
don't think he's got his 100th win yet.
Has he not?
But I know that was a big deal. He wanted to get to 100 wins before retiring, at least.
Huh.
Which I think is great. I hope he gets it.
Yeah, that's amazing. I actually went doing a young boy duty on the Indies one time. I had to give him a ride from the airport Had to drive like an hour out of my way to go pick him up, just to drive about 2 hours the other direction. But it was interesting just to talk to him. He seemed like a good guy. What year did you get into MMA? When did that happen?
I had my first fight in 1997. I first started training MMA, I would say, in 96. But I dabbled in different stuff, starting as early as like junior year in high school.
Now you talking about devil worshipping and stuff like that? When did that come into play?
I wrestled in high school. Did Greco and freestyle in high school. I had done like a year of judo, and then some friends and I would like hit mitts or things like that. There was a security guard at our school who had trained in Thai boxing, so he worked with us a little bit. A few of us, rowdy little kids. And from there, I just tried to get involved in as much martial training as possible because I saw UFC 2 sophomore year in high school, and I just looked at it and just thought, I'm going to do this one day. I don't know how. I don't know what it's going to take to get there. I have no clue how one gets even involved in this thing, but I'm going to do it. And it was a very, you just made it up as you went along. You really did back then. And eventually I got into a gym with pro fighters, with connections to real professional events, and I just went from there at AMC Penetration.
Who was Hoist Gracie won that second one too as well, right? Didn't he win like?
He did. Hoist won number 1, number 2. Number 2 was the only 16-man tournament, and then 3 was the one where he got hurt by chemo and pulled out.
Was two the one that Severn showed up in and was suplexing it to piss at everybody?
That was 4.
That was 4?
UFC 4. He suplexed Macias, threw around Marcus Bassett, and then eventually lost after like 11 or so minutes or something to Hoist via triangle choke.
Yeah. Man, what about Oleg Taktarov? You remember that guy?
Yes, I do. I don't even know if I ever had a chance to meet him, but I remember him twice in a row, Victor rolling and submitting Dave Bento with leg locks. He fights him the first time, Victor rolling, knee bar, Dave Bento has to tap out. He's all mad and huffed up about it. Then they meet in like one of the ultimates, and Bento's thinking, "Oh, I got his ass this time." Again, Victor roll, like Achilles lock, taps him out. The look of frustration on Dave Bento's face was priceless.
Taktarov might be my favorite. It's one of those names I just couldn't never forget, like no matter what. And I saw him in a movie too, like maybe like fucking one of the Bad Boys movies or some shit like that. And I was like, damn, that's Oleg.
He's been acting quite a bit.
Really? We were supposed to, I booked on a tour in Moscow, but I think it actually just got pushed back to maybe November. And I was like, those are one of the first things I sent the guys, like, is Oleg Taktarov going to be there? And the guy didn't even know what the fuck I was talking about. And I was just trying to be stupid. It's like, Oleg going to be there? Man,
yeah,
those early UFCs were.
And Alexander Karelin, is he wandering around?
Oh, good name, man. That's the most dominant athlete on earth. That was his moniker for the longest time. I actually think he got robbed there when he lost.
Are you going to go to the birthplace of Nikita Koloff?
I might have to go look that up. I'm still looking for Drago. The death of Apollo hit me pretty hard as a kid. I'm going to look for his ass. I think he's actually Swedish or some shit, but in my mind, he's there somewhere.
Right, and so if that's the case, then Nikolai Volkov is probably still wandering around.
Volkov. And Bridget Nielsen is there too, but I don't know if I want to run into her. I think I'd rather fight Taktarov than Bridget Nielsen. Although she did look hot. God, she was hot as hell back in the day. If you saw
she was a very tall piece of work.
Man, she was on that roast of Flavor Flav. Did you see that? The roast of Flavor Flav that she was on?
No, I haven't.
She looked like a fucking disaster.
Yeah, she was on that.
Well, that's right, because her and Flav were like hooked up.
Yeah, they hooked up on whatever the Flavor Flav reality show was, which, God, one of those comedians said that her vagina is where they filmed the movie The Descent. And I just remember I about pissed myself laughing at that for days. Do you
There's monsters in there somewhere.
God, yeah. Man, and the UFC thing, man, beating up Randy Couture and all the guys that you work with. all the top guys that you've worked with, is there anybody that you?
Randy Couture, what an asshole.
Well, who do you ever be, man? What do you ever do? Is there any top guy that you never fought? I know the Fedor fight didn't happen, but Fedor aside, is there anybody that you wanted to fight that it just never happened? I think you need to, Crow Cop's coming back. You got to settle that score.
I'm okay with that.
You okay with that?
I don't know what'll happen this time. Maybe lightning will come out of the sky and strike me dead in the middle of the ring.
You've had some.
I've never had very fortunate luck in fighting Crow Cop, either getting injured or whatever. Man, it's always been. It's tough enough. It was tough enough fighting that guy back then.
Yeah.
But there'd always be something extracurricular that come around, and I would just. I'm no bitch, so whatever. That's life. That happens. You get in the ring anyways, and you don't win fights by sitting on the sidelines, and that's not what I showed up for anyways. I still believe I could have won any of those fights, so I don't. They're solid losses, and it sucks, but yeesh, it's
yeah, you had some bad luck with
my
that.
biggest fear would not be losing to Crow Cop. My biggest fear is what would go wrong and leading up to that point, or maybe my head finally dislodges in the middle of the ring. I don't know.
So yeah, I was just reading about that, I think yesterday or the day before. So and of course I wanted to kind of research. I mean, of course I know a lot about you, but I actually try to be a little bit more professional with this show. When I first started this, it was just I would fly by the seat of my pants and not even know what the fuck I was talking about.
Well, you know what? The seat of your pants gets a lot of mileage. So
I do what I can, man. I do what I can. But luckily, I know a lot of people, and I mean, I actually do follow the piss out of MMA, so I actually know a lot about you anyway. And I was like, man, I know I follow the piss out. Well, there's certain people when they watch MMA like yourself that you watch it and you want to get in there and do it. And then there's people like me that watch it and it's like, there's no fucking way I'm gonna do that. Like the very first one when the Dutch guy kicked Tila Tule's fucking teeth out.
Gerard Gordeau.
Yeah, Gerard.
Right in the face. Got one tooth stuck in his foot. The other one went flying. Yeah.
And just visually looking at those guys, like I just knew this Samoan guy is going to kill this guy. Like he's over there. He's got a little beer belly. His gi looks like it don't even fit. It's kind of like he's like picking lint out of his belly button, like fucking digging wax out of his ears. It looks like he don't even give a fuck about anything at all. And like literally dodges the charge, kicks him in the face, punches him one time, and like it's done. And I was like, holy shit. And so you see, I think you still see that a lot. But I think a lot of guys, especially, they go buy the tap out shirts to get a couple tattoos. They're in the bar watching UFCs. And they think they're badasses, man. But it's always the most unassuming people.
Man, that just ain't my deal.
No, you can't, man. It's just, and some of the most unassuming guys are just fucking. If you look at like a Frankie Edgar or Fedor is maybe the most unassuming fighter on the planet. Like if you didn't know that he was what he was, you would just say, oh, this is some kind of chubby guy. I ain't worried about him. And then he's a fucking mauler.
At the same time, like Fyodor is not the kind of person that would ever get himself in any kind of trouble anyway.
Right.
So he's going to be real quiet, keep himself. I'm the one that if someone comes up and says something stupid, I'm gonna say something back. It's just I can't help it. I'll just start mocking them. I don't know. I got a bit of a mouth on me, so I've been told.
Yeah, trust me, I'm right there with you.
A real pretty mouth.
You sure do got a pretty mouth, boy. Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. I'm real bad for that. I calmed down as I got older. I was growing up. I think if you grow up in that fighting environment, though, if you grow up like I grew up in trailer parks, so you just had to fight. That's just how it was, and nobody had a win-loss record because everybody had losses, But that. Like I try to grow out of it a little bit, but it's still there somewhat. So I had to control myself too.
I'll tell you what. You say getting in the ring is crazy. Working in general is tough. Like I tell people all the time, it's probably easier for workers to fight than fighters to work.
Yeah.
People just don't get how difficult and how intricate it is to get in a professional wrestling ring and do it and make it look completely natural. On top of that, you will not catch me doing all the flips and moonsaults and bullshit. I'm just
Man, I'm gonna get you on the top rope at least one time.
No, I missile drop kick Bobby.
Oh yeah. When did this happen? I was hurt, so I wasn't there.
This was at IGF, and I was like, hey man, let's do some fun shit. So went out there, gave him a I'm like, hey, I'm gonna give you a missile drop kick off the top rope. And Bobby looks at me. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I just think it would be cool. And he's like, all right then, if you think you can do that. He goes, have you ever done that before? By the way, I go, no. But how hard can it be?
How was the landing?
This is a hard thing.
How was the landing?
Landing was good. The ring slats fucking broke or jumped up out of place or something after I hit the thing, and then I'm like, oh no. So I gotta continue on Bobby and like hit him with some quick bumps and then give him a sit out power bomb. So I had to bump him around the busted up boards and move him off to an area where it's not gonna where he's not gonna land on some 2x4 under the mat.
That would have been great to see. You know, I helped train Dennis Rodman for one of his WCW appearances.
Is that why it was so terrible?
That's exactly why. I don't think it was as much my fault as the fact that he showed up completely fucking hammered. During the training sessions, I actually got him to climb up to the top rope because I was like, this big, tall, gigantic bastard coming off this top rope with a clothesline is going to pop the shit out of his crap. So I was teaching him, and it ain't easy to climb up to the top rope. It ain't easy as one would think, especially, when you're that fucking big. I could get up there a lot easier than you guys could. And so, I was all excited watching this pay-per-view. I worked with Savage. Savage was one of my heroes, in training Rodman. So I was all excited about it. And Rodman is just fucking smashed. Like, he could barely talk, walk. I think he fell asleep in the corner at some. You remember that shit?
I do.
Yeah, oh, God, it was fucking awful.
While he was working?
Yeah, and it was on pay-per-view, too. And he is just fucking hammered. Like, it was a disaster. Yeah, so.
Was it him or Karl Malone that tried to do a jumping clothesline and then basically landed on their feet kind of first at the same, or like just before he hit him?
If it was anything halfway decent, Karl Malone did it because Malone actually worked. Malone actually worked pretty hard and tried to go out there and put on a good show. Malone was a fan of the product and wanted to do good. Rodman was just there for headlines and attention. And I'm not saying he didn't. He did put up a good effort in training. And I'll tell you a great story. Have you ever met Savage?
No.
Savage is a very intense guy anyway, and he was huge at this time too. And he's one of my all-time favorites as a kid. Now, I mean, I have posters of him on my wall. Is that that big of a fan? And so and we're up there and we're trying to teach Rodman how to hit him in the back with a chair. And like a lot of people think, a lot of people think there's a secret, but no, there's no secret. Just hit him with the flat part of the fucking chair, and it's going to hurt. And Rodman it might look like his arms are skinny, but you got to imagine his arm is like 4 foot fucking long. Like his biceps, as long as, like if you condense it into a normal arm, he'd have like Schwarzenegger arms, Mm-hmm. So anyway, Savage, he did the lat spread, and he's like, yeah, brother, go ahead, try it out one time. And Rodman hit him so fucking hard with that chair. He draws back and just whack. And it was and Savage jumped up and he goes, yeah, brother, just like that. And then he walked out of the ring and walked around the corner. And like, I don't know what he was doing, but in my mind, he was around that corner going, God damn it, motherfucker. But he just jumps up and goes, yeah, brother, just like that. And me and Chris Canyon were out there training him. And that was God, we told that story for fucking ever. But I don't even know how we got talking to Rodman, but yeah. But that was Rodman. But anyway, I would have liked to see your ass on that top rope. So when next time I come back to Japan and IGF, you gotta duplicate it.
Going up there, all I get is the officers like, I don't really think you should do that, this and that. They won't. Like, come on, really? People realize this is working, so they're not gonna shit on it. And it's not like I'm up there posing and doing the whole deal. I make 2 jumps and fucking I'm gone. I go. I'm not waiting. It's like I still try to keep it in the vein of treating it as reality. Although, I mean, if you're really fighting someone, you're not likely going to jump off of anything to hit them. But there you go. Funny thing also is Bobby's like, I don't let people pick me up and fling me around like that. Normally, I go, man, I'm safe. I will not hurt you. You're all good. I'm like, I'll sit out powerbomb you. And he looks at me with that Bobby Lashley look.
Yeah. That's the one. Yeah, Bobby's a big guy.
His tiny little ears.
He does have the smallest ears out of any human being I've ever seen.
How do you get cauliflower here when your ears are so tiny anyways? Can you hear what I am saying right now?
He's got
Did you have to buy like baby Q-tips to clean them?
He's got little butterbean ears. You look like cute little butterbeans.
Yeah, tiny little limas.
I'm gonna have to text Bobby and go, yeah, me and Josh were talking about your ears on my show today.
Yeah, were your ears burning? We were talking about
If they were burning, it was just a small little fire. You you could just douse it out. When's the next? When are you going back to Japan? You got they got another tour lined up. Very sporadic.
Yeah, still waiting for my hand to heal, which is coming along pretty well.
Oh, that's right. You broke it in the first round. Is that right? You broke it in the first round against Cormier?
20 seconds into the first round.
How soon?
23 seconds.
Fucking mighty. And then that was a 5-round fight.
Yeah. And I actually
23
with the thing, so that didn't do it any good.
Man, how much hardware you got in the hand now?
Plate with I think 6 screws. I'm not trying to compare me to you.
I am RoboCop.
We have the technology. We used it all on Shane Helms.
Yeah, they could have used more, but it's all in me right now. So
you're like, you know what? You didn't do anything for my cock. So this is bullshit.
It is like,
in here. You could have added a little pneumatic pump or something.
They put my foot back on. They could have thrown a little extra down there. I thought, I don't think it's too much to ask.
I told my surgeon, I'm like, okay, can you put machine guns, rocket launcher, a protractor, because I want my angles to be correct when I draw them, and a vibrating finger attachment.
Ah, for the ladies or the fellas, depending. You're out there in the Sunshine State, Nope?
Yeah, sometimes it's just you can't help but just draw them in.
No Chick-fil-A for you.
Personality, you just.
There you go. Well, cool. It's good seeing you. I want to throw your T-shirts up on the screen real quick. The War Master T-shirts.
Yeah, they're all essentially very, very heavy metal. The white shirt is a design by my buddy Kiyoshi Nakazawa at luckynakazawa.com. He put that together with the idea based on old school Catch as Catch Can reference. So we took a bunch of old photos and everything and used that for reference in terms of positioning and for modeling. But there are 2 Japanese oni, like demons, devils, or whatever, like grappling and going, if they were in, say, the forest or something. There's the little flames hanging around in the air are also homage to traditional Japanese ghosts or spirits, which often look like that. So it's a very Japanese take, but it was all based on the theme of double wrist lock, standing double wrist lock, and catch wrestling. And I used the artwork for a flyer for a seminar I did, and then I just was like, this is so cool, I should turn it into a T-shirt.
That is very cool. There's another one, I like the one of you sitting in the chair too, though. That one's probably my favorite of the 3.
That was the first one that we did with Indie Merch, which I'm very glad to meet those guys. This guy Kareem comes in. Well, I see him at this thing called Cali Metal Fest, and Indie Merch has a table set up, and they got a whole bunch of shirts and things like that. And so he recognized me as a fan, and we started to talk a little bit. I think I bought a Black Dahlia Murder T-shirt and a Skeleton Witch one. And then later on, we exchanged cards, and then he sends me a message saying, well, hey, we're interested actually to maybe do some stuff with you and your fighter Megumi. Like, that sounds great. I love the idea of this. The thing about clothing is, 1, I'm not trying to be T-shirt guy or any of that kind of crap. 2, I'm not trying to be MMA guy either. There's enough of that going around. And I'd like to say that I would like to do something a little more original or interesting than just corny fight-related stuff.
Right.
And then the biggest thing about it all is logistics. Who takes the who handles the money, who ships them out, where do you warehouse it? That's a major issue. Because I've done shirts by myself before with my buddy Trevor Jackson, who does a brand called Universal right now. But it's just you get all these shirts printed up, you do all this stuff, and you know who's going to take care of all this stuff. So with Indie Merch, they take care of all that for me, and it's awesome. And they've also got a great network of amazing heavy metal artist guys. So everything that I try to come up with is metal in some way. So that first shirt was I just sent off just an overall concept, sent it to them, and they had a guy jump on it. Like, this works, and we just went through a different color, a couple color choices, and I came up with a slogan to put on the back, and there you go, heavy metal as fuck.
That's awesome, man. Like, I know exactly what you're talking about with the T-shirts. You know, WWE used to do all of mine, and when I came out and came up with my own, you know, I wasn't really expecting that great of a volume. I don't know. I mean, I don't know why. You know, I mean, I sold a ton of shit with WWE, so when I came out with my Vertebreaker shirt, I was like, yeah, you know, I'll do it myself. And next thing you know, I got all these orders fucking piling up, and then I got babies being born and all kinds of shit. And I'm fucking 2 months behind on everything.
Like, say, if WWE is merchandising your stuff, of course, what they're going to do is going to be different, say, than you would do personally. Like, they're going to have big all-over prints of the wrestler with your name.
Yeah.
They're just branding the crap out of it. And people want to show their loyalty and support to the wrestlers that they're fans of. It's not really about fashion.
Right.
Or something that you just wear on a regular, well, I guess people will wear that shit on a regular basis. This is true. But when it becomes your own hustle, you want to put something together that you want people to be comfortable in wearing in almost any scenario.
Which, when I actually designed all my shirts for WWE, and I always had in mind, say again?
And they sell?
They sold pretty well. Like I said, they kept my silly ass around for a long time. I would always, the sayings on the back, one of the mindsets I always had is that somebody would like this saying whether they like me or not. Like if you were a Hurricane fan, you would like the shirt. I think that's why I helped like the Austin 316 shirt, which is one of the best selling shirts of all time. The back saying, "I just whooped your ass," was the seller. Because people that didn't even know Austin liked that saying. And so I use that when I would have biatch on the back of my shirt, or I have issues, you know, and shit like that. So
biatch.
Yeah, I got my hurl powers, and then the back said biatch. So I always had that mindset that my fans would like it, but also people that might not necessarily like me. And there are some
people that are into vulgarity. They will enjoy this.
The people, yeah, I love some good profanities when it's well placed.
Good profane moment. I try to design my shirts so that if you're in church, like priests and nuns will grow up. That's what I'm trying to do.
So when you're worshiping the devil, these are the shirts that you should wear. I say worshiping the.
Paying homage to the great old ones. This is what you should be wearing.
I said worshiping the devil earlier, and you thought I said wrestling, and you started talking about high school wrestling. And I just let you go on with it. I said, okay.
I'm sure the devil wrestles. He's old timey. I'm sure he's got like a pair of Indian clubs that he swings around in hell or something.
He's got to be doing something. So right now you're just healing up though. No fights planned, I guess.
Just sticking my head up my ass and fighting for air. Otherwise, training, doing my strength conditioning work with Eric Hammer over at CrossFit Brad. He's been training me for my last few fights. We go way back as friends and as training partners. He's pretty much my man Friday in terms of all of the training aspect and my number one sparring partner.
He sent me a message and he wants to know, why do you try to injure all your training partners?
He did not say that.
That's exactly what he said.
He sent you a message on Skype?
No, he sent that. He sent that on Twitter. You can go to Eric Hammer Twitter and look through his timeline. And
all right.
And there's one to me. And let me see. I'm gonna tweet this shit, man. I hold it up to the camera.
Which won't do me any good because I can't even see you.
But the people will see.
The people will see. And with the people see, it must be true. Well, he didn't tag me in it, that son of a bitch.
Is it Eric Hammer? Is that his name? Is that his Twitter? He's one of those people?
Well, actually, Eric Hammer was already taken of all things. I was the one who found the Eric Hammer. I was like, that's a happy medium anyways. Oh, let's see.
He should have put the Rizzle. Here it is. 20 hours. The Rizzle Eric Hammer.
The Brazil.
Actually, make sure to ask Josh why he is so mean to his sparring partners. The world wants to know.
I'm totally looking for this shit.
Michael Yamaha, can I get a verification?
I see it.
Michael Yamaha verifies. It's his third one down. He ain't put in that money, I don't think.
Where the hell is he? I do not see this shit.
He is he one of those guys like he's just naturally athletic monster? This Eric Hammer kid. I made him.
He is. I'll give him that. I'll say he's a natural athlete, and he has a soft touch, which is
Ooh.
Yeah, right. He lotions a lot.
Now I see where the friendship comes in.
He what he does is. Did you respond to his question? Because I don't even see this on your shits.
No, I didn't respond to it.
Okay, so he is a big, huge dude, right? So
yeah.
When I first got him into wrestling, he was 285 and 6'4", 6'5". I mean, big old guy. But he's not stiff. He's flexible. He's agile, and he had that certain quality about him that I knew could make him a good worker and make it so that he make sure to ask Josh why he's so mean to his sparring partners. The world wants to know. What a dick.
See?
So
why are you so mean?
Yeah. I came to him. I said, you could have a future in this. There's a potential for it, and that's just because you need to be able to be smooth. You need to be able to not hurt people and to look good out there in the ring and perform well. You got to have a good feel. And he did, So when I got him into this, and he didn't really know what he was getting into. In fact, the first time, Eric Paulson was supposed to go back over and wrestle. He had 2 matches. Eric's first match was against Wakashoyo, this former sumo guy. And Eric didn't know hardly anything about working. But, Eric knows a gazillion moves, Eric Paulson.
Right.
And we get him over there, and Fujiwara and Inoki are talking to him. They go, Fujiwara's like, you kick his ass. You beat the shit out of him. That's what you do. If you can't. And Eric's just going, I thought this was a worker.
Eric Hammer or Eric Paulson?
Paul comes up to me and tells me all this. And I go, well, yeah. I mean, if you beat the fuck out of him than go around and pity pat.
No, this is Hammer. Is this Hammer you talking about or Paulson?
Eric Paulson. So Eric goes out there. I give him the STF as a finisher. I go, you'll get over with that. And he gets in the ring, and they're wrestling, and Wakashoyo is kind of a pile of shit. And he starts blowing up. Mm-hmm. And at some point, I'm in Paulson's corner, feeding him information, even though it just sounds like I'm just cornering him.
Right.
And at some point, Wakashoyo is just kind of laying on the floor, and just he's all blown up. He's a big sweaty mess, just oozing fucking tamari and fucking Ponzu sauce out of his pores. So I turn to Paulson and I go, beat his fucking ass. And Paulson looks at me, I go, kick his fucking ass. And whack, soccer kicks him in the guts. The guy goes, spits his mouthpiece out. He wails on him a little bit, picks his leg up, throws him in an STF, and takes him out. I mean, he full on boots this fucking sumo right in his guts. His mouthpiece goes like 2 feet.
Why are you so mean? The world wants to know.
Well, I mean, because the shit was dying. They were just dead in the water out there.
Gotcha.
Something needs to happen.
Something had to happen.
If you start shitting the bed, hey, if you shit the bed on me, I will fuck you up. You earned it by either sharp and shape.
There you go. Yeah, it's true.
Trying to get the powder the right way, or C, you just fucking up. And these people all paid to see a match, so I'm going to entertain them, even if it's coming out of your ass. So Paulson was supposed to go back, but nothing happened, so I couldn't make it, seminars or something. So I turned to Hammer and I go, you want to do this? He goes, okay, but you're going to train me, right? And I go, of course. So
he's never wrestled. He's never wrestled before, and you're going to take him to Japan to wrestle.
High school, junior college, play some arena football.
Just throw him in the fucking deep end of the pool there, why don't you?
Well, he was in good hands. So I showed him how to bump. It was great. The first time I showed him how to front bump. So I show him some back bumps from various positions and rolling bumps, and we're standing up on our feet, and I said, well, you're gonna need to be able to learn how to, do a front bump, fall flat on your face. You think you could do that? And he just looks at me and he just falls. Didn't put his hands up, nothing, just falls right on his face. Like Tim Burr. I look at him like, what the fuck are you doing? He said, well, you asked if I could do that. And I'm like, that's not the way you do it. If you keep doing that shit, you are not going to last very long. Like, put your hands up, stupid. Turn your head at the end, something. If you're gonna Ric Flair it, then save it for the moments that count. So I get him. I get him bumping, and I get him working on this heavy bag and throwing it around this grappling gun. And then I had to leave to Seattle. So he calls me up. He goes, "Hey, what are we doing today?" I go, "Oh, just do the bag drills, do this, and work on your bumps. I'll be back from Seattle in, I don't know, like 5 days." He's like, "We're leaving in 6." You're fine.
You'll be good.
I pull him over there. We give him a finisher, and he works with Otska, which easy peasy breezy, man. Otska makes him look like $1 million, and the legendary Eric Hammer is born.
I think I can't remember exactly how I even met him. I think we showed up at the airport in Tokyo, and I just saw this big gigantic guy over there, and I was like, he must be a wrestler too.
He's got to be a worker. There's no way that guy just wandered in Japan for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, I think I just walked over and just said something to him or something. Then we were stuck on a train for a couple hours or whatever.
And what it comes down to in terms of his asinine question is, I'm not so mean to my training partners. My philosophies are this: I'll hurt you, but I don't injure you. And when I'm getting ready for a fight, I get ready for a fight. I do Shark Tank rounds, I do whatever, and we get out there, and sometimes we're going 80-90% with our MMA stuff on. But you've been in enough fights then at that point, by the time you get to the fight itself, you're ready for anything. It's just that the biggest thing that gets hurt, I guess, training with me and just in our whole CSW kind of camp system, is egos. Egos get destroyed because people get the shit kicked out of them, and most of that stuff not that serious. No bumps, bruises here, but nothing too bad. And it's not like that every day. But people don't like getting owned.
I think that's
it really does something for their psyche. And then I beat one guy up. I didn't even wail on him. Like most of the time, I don't full bore people in the head. Yeah, I've knocked some people out in the gym, but then we dump them off to the side and get somebody else in there. But normally,
just roll them out of the ring and fuck it.
I've done that. Yeah, I left hooked the cat, put him on the floor onto his face, and I just said next, and I kicked him out of the ring, rolled him out from under the bottom rope.
Somebody came over with a wheelbarrow and I just threw him out in the alley.
Kind of. I just used my foot and just pulled him out. He just fell out onto the ring. One dude, I straight righted him right in the diaphragm. He dropped on the floor, and then he rolled himself out of the ring because he knew I was going to soccer kick him next.
Yeah, well, that's
for pride. I wasn't going to full on waylay him, but just going through the motion means that when you're in the ring, you're going to remember that. You're going to have that muscle memory. And that's the thing, is some of that training doesn't have to be 100% or near 100%. Just the motion, the movement, the eye recognition, the ocular recognition, the sensory recognition, the spatial recognition, those things, the movements, you're going through it, your body will remember it and will be able to perform it. Now, doing these things 100% also has an advantage to it, in terms of your conditioning and knowing exactly what that movement's going to be like. But you don't always have to go blisteringly hard, and that's one of the great things about having Eric as a training partner. Is we can work like that. We basically we work with each other. We just work around. We punch, kick, move, roll, flow, and I really believe in doing that kind of thing to keep you sharp. But when it comes to full sparring, we go for it, and I I usually, I'll go 100% on the body. So if you get liver shotted or knee in the guts or whatever, and you hit the deck, that's par for the course. And so this cat was in there. He was a pro fighter, tagging him up. He's trying to take me down. Not going to happen. Throw him on his back. And I just kept dropping my knee on his guts, and it just took all the fight out of him. And then just peppered him in the face. Not trying to knock him out or anything, but just light him up. And
I'm starting to detect a mean streak here. I mean,
he was supposed to get back in the ring for another round of sparring, and he was like, nope. And then he ended up quitting MMA altogether.
Just said fuck it. Threw his whole career out of the window.
Yeah, he's done.
But that's the thing about
I'm in his shit, but I don't do anything with the expectation that someone's not going to do it to me. And
right.
Someone catches my arm in training, I remember that shit, and it's not. I don't necessarily get even, but it's. I have a thing inside me that pushes me to, not. I'm not trying to make it sound like I'm one-upping or you armbar me, I'm gonna boot your face off or something like that. But it's just that I remember that, and I have to create some sort of resolution in my own head. I got to go harder. I got to do better. I got to, if there was a mistake I made, I'm going to correct that and not make that mistake again. But all's fair in practice, because you go out there, you get beat up then, you get tired then, just so that you don't do it when it really counts.
Yeah, you practice like you play. You play like you practice. So if you're out there half-assing it during, like you say, during training, then when it comes game time, you're not going to have it in the tank. And martial arts, I think all combat sports, wrestling, as you know, that can be very humbling. You play football and basketball and baseball, and if you lose, you got a million people to blame it on. When you're out there all by yourself, you got nobody to blame it on when you lose. You can take all the credit when you win, but it's humbling, especially in MMA, when you guys are out there on pay-per-view and thousands of people watching. It's one thing to get beat up in a bar where fucking 3 or 4 people are watching, but when there's millions of people out there watching, that can be very humbling. So my hat goes off to anybody that just has the heart.
You must not be talking about our sport. That's why I had like 17 people tune in last time we fought.
No, that Cormier fight was big, man. That was a big fight. You guys.
It was a fight. It was big. It was. And people like to ask me about it. And I'm like, well, no one really got out alive, man. We really did a number on each other.
Yeah, y'all did some Rocky Apollo shit in that one. Y'all both took it to each other pretty good. He's a really good guy, man. I ain't gonna lie, I had my money on you.
He's got a huge future. He's already got a belt around his waist, asshole. But I could easily see him taking the UFC title. He's gonna be one of the top guys in the sport. I don't know how long he intends to be around as a fighter, because he did have a pretty extensive career as an amateur wrestler beforehand. I'm sure he's already got some miles on him. He's already had a hand he's broken twice. But while he's here and he's healthy, Daniel Cormier he's absolutely one of the best in the world.
Well, let me get some quick picks from you. Who you picking in this Dos Santos Overeem battle?
The difference is if Overeem, one, doesn't gas, I think that he's got a lot to push around. He's got to be aware of that, depending on because Dos Santos is very quick for a heavyweight. He's got a good jab. He's got good footwork. I think in terms of the ground wise, I don't think Overeem is going to be going for any submissions necessarily. It's not going to be a grapple battle, although submission edge is Overeem. And just by using his mass and just being heavy and riding him, Overeem. So the groundwork is all going to go to Overeem.
You think Overeem's got better submissions?
If he can use long kicks, counter knees, things like that, and avoid taking too clean a shot right on the chin from anything too big, I think he'll win this fight. Nobody else has gotten in Dos Santos' face, and Overeem has fought the best kickboxers in the world.
Yes, it's interesting you think that Overeem has better submissions than Dos Santos.
Absolutely.
Really?
I've seen the guys won Abu Dhabi trials. He's seen him tap out people in the ring, tapped out Peter Belfort, front choke.
Was that at light heavyweight? Was that in Pride?
Light heavyweight at Pride, yeah.
He bulked up a little bit since those days, huh?
What's that? Yeah, well, he's a little bit bigger than he used to. Yeah.
Yeah, he hit a growth spurt.
The light heavyweight Overeem.
Well, that's very interesting. What about we got a strike force this week. Actually, I had Daniel. I had Derek Brunson on the show last week or the week before. He's fighting Jacare this weekend. Uh, he was undefeated. He was undefeated, and then he got like kind of fucked over by the judges against Kendall Grove, I think. And anyway, now he's fighting Jacare, and the winner gets is the #1 contender for the Strikeforce middleweight title. So,
Isn't he a poker player?
which one, Jacare or the other guy?
Derek Brunson.
He could be. I don't know. I don't know what else.
Doyle Brunson.
He's a Carolina boy. He's actually from North Carolina.
Oh, I see.
No.
Favoritism.
There's a little bit of favoritism there. I ain't gonna lie about that shit. Hey man, you're my buddy, so I'm picking you in any fight. I get crazy like that sometimes.
Right.
It's when I know people. It's one of my rules. I generally stick away from bet because if you let your heart get into it, you'll fuck up and make a bad call.
So to add to why I'm so mean to my training partners, I'm just mean to Eric because he's a cockhead. He's ready to get slapped around a bit.
A cockhead?
Cockhead, yeah.
The cockhead.
Slapping McGee. We took him over there. I think it was his third trip. And the whole time, me, John Anderson, Necro Butcher, kept chopping him all night long. They're like, you're a little pussy. You haven't been chopped yet. You're going to have to take your licks.
Like in a match or just walking around town?
No, just on the street. So we're just whacking him up. There's all kinds of ridge hands. We're wooing like Flair. Nobody's business. Anderson lays a big old meaty paw on him. Weld him up good. I'm chopping with stuff. Butcher keeps nailing with shit. And I got to the point where he's like, all right, man, I can't take it no more. I was like, okay, gotcha. All right, well, hey, you can take this elevator with your wife. We'll just meet you up there. All right, cool. The door's closing. Bing! On the chest. He's like, fuck you!
I imagine you four guys, y'all really didn't stand out walking down the streets of Tokyo, did you?
Chopping the shit out of each other? No.
Just by appearance alone. You, Hammer, Strongman, and fucking Necro Butcher.
Speaking of chopping, so I had that fight against Mighty Mo and Dream, and I had a whole bunch of my boys come out with me. So my buddy Tomo, Victor, and my other buddy Al all came from Hollywood and Vancouver to come hang out, and they'd never been to a big fight in Japan. They never got to be to any of this kind of thing. So they're all big fans themselves. In fact, all of them train in some art or another. Al was a former super heavyweight Canadian amateur boxing champion. Victor actually trains under me in catch wrestling. He's a brown belt at 10th Planet. Took third in the absolute and third in his weight class in the Nogi Worlds one year. And then Tomo has been training Thai boxing for like 8 years or something like that. So they're all martial artists. They're all big fans of the sport too. So I'm giving them a more laid-back night on the town, showing them around Tokyo and showing them like some of the spots where Sid Mead was inspired for creating the cityscapes for Blade Runner, the ramen stands on the streets, the red light district craziness that was built, Kabukicho, that was where part of the inspiration for Blade Runner was Kabukicho, and going to these different little restaurants, little hole in the walls, all kinds of cool stuff. Just wandering the town, drinking and eating the whole time, showing them different stuff. Eventually, we'll make our way back to Roppongi, and I show them this little jazz bar. It's on the corner. It's pretty cool. It's called London. Smoking cigars and drinking absinthe, and it's a pretty tame Sunday.
That's tame? Absinthe? Drinking absinthe is tame?
Yeah. Compared to the night before.
Okay, gotcha.
And there's not a lot of people in town. So then we end up at the New Lex, friends of mine, they run that thing, so we're always good there. We show up, this kid comes up to me, he goes, hey, this cat named Koji, he goes, you remember me? You put me in a headlock last time you were here. I go, oh, sounds like something I would do. All right, cool, dude. He goes, man, I'm going to get you so drunk tonight. I go, I don't think so. That's not going to happen. But, come hang out with us. And he had a bunch of people there hanging out with him, and the bar is pretty well empty, especially for this place. I mean, it gets so packed to the point that there can't be any fire codes in Japan. If there are, they're clearly being broken. So it's just this mainly, workers and a few little people here and there. And we're getting rowdier and rowdier and rowdier. We're just being silly and stupid. It starts off, we're slapping each other while we're running around with flip cams, hip slapping each other in the face and doing stupid stuff. And Eventually, I haul off and I chop Alex, and we all think it's hilarious. Well, Koji comes over and he's like, "Hey, what the hell's going on? You know, this, you know, you guys are having a fun time. You guys, this wants to be a part of it, basically."
Right.
So I'm like, "All right, dude, then you're gonna get fucking chopped." Okay. So I rip his shirt up and I just haul off and just chop the living shit out of him. He makes this ungodly scream. It's like, "Aye!" And he flops onto the couch, just ripping his chest, and rolls around for like a minute and a half. That goes. Fast forward, maybe 30 minutes later, I'm starting to chop everyone in the whole place. People are being brought up to the top. The security guard's getting chopped, manager, he's getting chopped. Some chick comes up, I chop her. Everyone's getting chopped.
A chick, right in the old tits.
Yeah, right in the old boobage. And they had like these little chillers for, let's say, if you put a bottle in there, like
right,
whatever, you know, like a wine chiller. So there was one that had a bunch of ice in it, but it was all melted. So I'm sticking my hand and getting it all wet, and it's just wailing people. I'm welding people up. This one little actor dude, I haul off and smack him, this skinny little cat. His chest breaks open, blood's trickling down. I mean, damn. People are just fucking getting it. And it just was the dumbest thing.
You're just a sweetheart of a guy, I can tell.
Well, I mean, they all want to be chopped, right? And if I chop them like a bitch, everyone would just be like...
You know, you were giving the crayons, the crowd, you were giving the crayons what they wanted, man. You know, you give them, yeah, you're giving the crayons what they wanted.
Man, they're really needy. And Brick Red, goddamn, you know, they're always, if it's not one thing, it's another. So Koji comes back up, he goes, "I want to chop you then." I'm like, "Fine, go ahead." He hauls off, chops me, I curse at him in Japanese, and then low kick him. Or
just, I mean, a real sweetheart of a human being, man.
And so, you know what, the next time I show up in Japan, I go to New Lex, people are asking, "Oh, you're going to be chopping everyone?" I'm like, "No."
You should have started charging.
That was just a thing, you know. It was just an anomaly. And sure enough, one of the dudes in the group, one of the Japanese dudes in the group, he wants to be chopped. He's like, "I want to do it." Like, you know, I'm not. He's like, "Come on, chop me." I'm like, "Fuck, fine, dude. All right, and this is what you want." So I whip his shirt up, and everyone's sitting back. There's always like models, and it's kind of what the place is known for. Like all the little models that come over from like Canada and Europe, and that's like their little hangout. They get taken care of there. So all these little girls, and when I say girls, I mean they're girls. They haven't seen shit in the whole world, right? Big ass dude, and this little Japanese guy. So I flip his shirt up over his head. He's sitting there and he's looking at me, and I wind up and I just turn in on him and I give him a little bake, and he goes, "Ha!" And then he relaxes, and then I follow through on him.
On the real. I just came up with a merchandise idea for you. All right. Now when you do autograph signings or whatever, you have your other Josh Barnett Warmaster T-shirts, and that's fine. Anybody that's a fan, they can buy those. Then you got the special shirts. I got chopped by Josh Barnett, which they can only buy if you chop them. Like they have to let you chop them just to get this shirt. And whatever, I got chopped by Barnett, and all I got was this T-shirt or some shit like that. But the only way that they can even buy the T-shirt is if you chop the piss out of them.
Again, in person at an event and get chopped by me.
And then you can buy a shirt.
Get chopped. You know what's funny? I never chopped anyone in a match ever.
I bet in Japan they would buy it.
Yeah,
they
would read it.
Put that shit in Japanese, man. It'd be easy. Yeah. And you could make it like just put a big handprint on the front of the shirt. The shirt's just a big fucking handprint in the backs. I got chopped by Josh Barnett.
It would be nice if I could put a big handprint, but I've got small hands for my size.
You know what they say about guys with them small hands, man?
Yeah, it makes the dick look bigger.
There you go. Got them little midget hands, man. I don't know, man. I got a picture of
the tiny little fucking Cabbage Patch hands. You're like, "Oh God, I'm gonna look like a god."
I got this picture of me and you at Comic-Con, man. Your fucking meat hook is gigantic.
Well, you know, I gotta
look at that fucking thing.
Here, but,
look, I got decent size. I got decent sized hands, man, and yours look fucking way bigger than mine.
That's what she said. Wait.
That's it. I'll throw.
Right?
Well, very good, man. It's been a been fun talking to you, man. I don't know when I'm gonna get to see you again, cause you're still on the shelf, man. You got to get off that shelf.
Well, of course. I want to get on the IGF. I know they have some plans for New Year's stuff. I loved working the New Year's shows.
Yeah.
In Japan is the best. Such a great time. So I hope we get an opportunity for that. I wouldn't mind even working New Japan or doing something like that on behalf of IGF. Just to, at the end of the day, I know that they have their politics and everything between all the companies, but the fact is, wrestling is down, and we need to create interest, and we need to make the sport more viable. More viable isn't really the term, but we need to uplift it and get the fans interested and keep their interest high. So whatever that takes, we have to think sometimes bigger than the business, because if there's no business, it doesn't matter who you're working for. There ain't nothing for you. There ain't going to be any money, period. No one's going to be working.
Yeah, I definitely, I love going to Japan, but I love working with IGF. They just, they don't run as much as New Japan and All Japan does. So, I just wish they would run a little bit more. But cool.
Yeah, that's true. Some coherent storylines would be good. Little things, but at the end of the day, we're workers. We got to do the best we can in the ring. Office has to handle their part and go on from there. And I hope to get over there and work sometime soon. I miss being over there, chopping the populace.
We got to get this. If I design a T-shirt, we're gonna have to book an autograph signing section over there.
I'm into it. You got to get Hammer on this freaking thing now, I guess, so I can send questions about why he's such an asshole.
Definitely, man. I would love to get. He's got a good story, man. I'm all about getting guys' stories out there. I do independent guys too, guys that aren't, haven't made it quite as big yet. And I said, we'll definitely get Eric on here, because just your story alone, how you got him into business, is pretty fucking fascinating to me. So
it's a little funnier the way he tells it, though, because he talks about it from like,
just being dropped in a Shark Tank.
I'm gonna get my hair cut here.
Oh yeah, very sweetheart.
But the way he tells it is from his perspective of me just taking off to Seattle, and he's like, "What the fuck, dude? I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm completely unprepared for this shit."
I saw that. Oh, very cool. Well, Josh, it's been great talking to you, man. I want to continue. Wish you the best of luck in your continued career. MMA, pro wrestling, catch as catch can, all that shit. And I'll see you down the road again, buddy.
All right, man. Good to see you.
You too. Later. But that's a cool cat, man. That's one of them cool kids, man.
Very interesting.
Yeah, badass too, man. Like I said, there's some guys in wrestling that their gimmick is, they're shooters and shit, and it's just a gimmick. He could go out there and take your ass up.
Hurt you.
For
sure.
He's been in there with some of the best guys in the business ever. Not in the business, but I'm talking about MMA too. His run in Japan has been pretty cool, man. If he grabs your ass, man, you can fly. He'll throw the shit out of you.
Damn.
So what you been up to, man? Did you get wrestle this weekend?
No.
You had the weekend off?
I did not. Yeah.
Silly bitch.
Yeah. Maybe in 2 weeks.
When are you gonna get a picture, man? This fucking bear picture is just ridiculous.
Every time I send you a picture, it ain't good enough.
Get up and look at this. See that? Professional. Look at that. Professional.
I'm gonna get,
even the big daddy. Professional.
I'm gonna get one. I'm gonna go to highspots.com, get them done.
Look at Josh Barnett. Professional.
Right. Find the one with the right there. That's professional.
This
That's
is ridiculous. Ridiculous is exactly what that shit is. Man, so I guess did you hear about my story this weekend getting stuck in Nova Scotia?
I heard a little bit of it. I've been looking forward to.
I know I put the apology out there just so people would know. I got a great reputation for never no-showing an event. And what a no-show is that you just don't show up, or you give them some bullshit excuse, last-minute scenario.
Right.
But I was working in Nova Scotia, and I actually, when Sebastian was, when he popped out early, this was the tour I was going to be on. And, of course, I went online and let all the promoters know. I said, look, I'm not going anywhere in July. I'm going to be here until my baby's born. I'm not going to miss that. And, I gave them all a great rate, rebooking me, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And so I was kind of a makeup tour anyway. And I was going to team with Rosie for the first time since WWE is going to be our reunion tour. and in Nova Scotia, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. The Friday show ended up being something kabuki where that wasn't going to happen. So now it's just going to be Thursday and Friday. I'm like, okay, whatever, you know. I'm still, you know, I promise these guys I'll be there, so I'm going to be there Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then Sunday, I was supposed to fly to Evansville, Indiana, and be picked up and get driven to the gathering of the Juggalos, which I always wanted to go to, just as a fan. I wanted to fucking go.
Going there.
Yeah, I want to go and like not work. I want to go and just
have fun.
Have fun, man. Because you know it's fucking crazy. I've always liked ICP's music. They're insane. I know it's not for everybody, and I understand people might not like it, but me personally, Shane Helms, I like it. I respect that some people don't. I like the shit.
Me too.
Like it. What can you do? And I always wanted to go, you know. And I got to work them a couple times in WCW, normally in 6-man matches where they would team with Vampiro, and I was in 3 count. And I always like working them, man. Damn, Violent J one time shot me to the ropes and goes, power bomb me. And the guy's like fucking 280 pounds. And I was Sugar Shane. I was maybe 180, 190. I was, you know, it was when I was really getting all into, you know, fucking putting size on and stuff and working out really hard. So I was getting there, but I wasn't, you know, I might have been at the 200-pound mark, but just barely. His big ass power bomb me. What the hell are you talking about? And I had to like boot him, and I think I tagged out or some shit. But anyway, I always like those guys, and every time I see him, you know, with buddies, we've stayed in touch over the years. So anyway, I get to go to the gathering. Finally, I'm booked on it. And I'm going to do a 3-way dance with Matt and John Morrison. So I kind of had some ideas in my head. I was going to really test myself going forward with this match. Anyway, Saturday night after the show in Nova Scotia. Anyway, Rosie ended up getting hurt, so I didn't get the team with Rosie.
Right.
But Big Daddy Viscera showed up.
I saw that.
You saw that picture, you know. I put that picture online. And a fan actually suggested the name the Big Daddy Canes.
The Big Daddy Canes.
So we were calling ourselves the Her Daddies, just jokingly. Because once we put the pictures up on Facebook, there's actually a lot of interest from promoters in teaming us together, like right away. So I don't know where we're gonna go with that forward, but it was interesting that happened. But anyway, so I'm teaming with Viscera. Had you know, especially Saturday night was a really good match. You know, I'm glad to have fun, crowds into it, and all that shit. You know how you feel after a good match. You feel good. Get to the back of the locker room. There's one of the guys there, a guy named Kevin, that had been helping us out, you know, and driving us around and stuff and keeping us entertained while we're in Nova Scotia, you know. It can get boring sitting in a fucking hotel room all day long, you know. So, you know, we went, you know, and actually, you know, his wife cooked for us and all that shit, lobsters, and, well, they eat lobsters. I don't eat seafood, but anyway, he comes to us after the show and is like, man, said, we'll check the flights tomorrow. Y'all's flight's been canceled. Because we had the first flight out of Nova Scotia. And that was going to be on a Sunday morning. But what had happened was that the planes on Saturday night never got there because there was bad weather where certain planes were coming from.
Okay.
So the planes never got to Nova Scotia. So a couple flights in the morning had been canceled. Very small, you know, small airport. Now you got hundreds of people, you know, clamoring for flights, and they didn't have nothing that could get me to Evansville, Indiana. Whether I changed airlines, whether they switched it up and maybe I was Delta part of the deal and USA part of the other deal, Air Canada or whatever they were doing, JetBlue, nothing they could do. Viscera either. We're both going to be stuck there till Monday. We even offered to drive to Moncton, New Brunswick, which is a couple hours away, to see if we could fly out of that airport. Nothing. And then I was like, well, damn, can I fly home? Can I get to North Carolina? Nothing. And so we're just fucking stuck. Yeah, so missed the payday of the gathering, missed the gathering, and I was stuck in New Brunswick there. So, not New Brunswick, Nova Scotia. Yeah, I mean, I know it wasn't my fault, but I kind of like just wanted
cool and good of you to do.
Just kind of wanted people to see what was going on. You know, it ain't all glitz and glamour. I know people, you know, what you see in that ring is a very small portion of what the career actually is, you know. But man, that kind of, I hated I missed it when I got home, you know. But finally got home. Oh, then coming out of Nova Scotia, the night before they had parked their plane somewhere else in like the de-icing place or some shit like that. They were telling some kind of crazy story. So we had this long delay. So then I missed my connection in Detroit. And so I get an extra 3-4 hour layover in Detroit for my troubles.
For your troubles.
Yeah, finally make it home. And I was like, God almighty. But, you know.
And that gathering thing, that sucks too, because that's like once a year deal, right?
Yeah, it's once a year deal, you know. And they were all cool. They all contacted me. I was like just super appreciative of, you know, the second I found out there was a problem, I reached out and told them. I just, man, it fucking sucked. It's like missing. I hate missing shows anyway. Like, even if it's a great reason, you know, I just hate doing that. And sucks, man. And I just double book myself sometimes too. But
I
that's
saw
you know,
you said
I'm
something
the
about that.
worst,
I'm like, what the hell is going on with him?
the good thing is that there's interest. You know, the good thing is that people want to see me and want to
Right.
book me. That's the positive. But you know, I got 2 different agents, and I'm always good about, you know, I got my iPad and I got my book. But what I'll do is sometimes I'll put it in my iPad or my book, and
Not both.
and when I don't combine them, that's where I fuck up. And then so just as recently, I was supposed to make a video for a show I was going to do, and then I saw a tweet about I was supposed to be in Chicago, and I'm like, what the hell is that about? And I literally had to go through and scroll through my text back to July, and like there it was that I agreed to do it. And I'm like, oh. And so, but anyway, you know, whoever I agreed to first, I normally don't never go back on that. So I just
Right.
fixed it.
Took
I
care
fixed
of
it.
that
Yeah,
for sure.
I don't do that no show shit, man. I think it's very unprofessional when guys do that, you know.
So what have you got? You're somewhere this weekend now.
Yeah, I got 2 shows in Milwaukee this
Milwaukee,
weekend.
that's
Well, one's a show, and then we're hosting a SummerSlam party. And you can go to ShaneHelms.com. By the time this is out, all that information should be on my website for people in the Milwaukee area. Going to watch a little SummerSlam. Did you watch Raw this Monday night?
Yes, I did. I did see Rob Monday.
This 3 hours was a little bit longer, I thought.
Yeah.
kind of stretched on a little bit. But I don't know. I think they're married to that concept of being 3 hours for a little while. So I guess we're going to have to endure it. Endure it. What'd you think about it? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
Medium maybe. I mean,
I
I
agree.
watched it. It wasn't, you know, coming off of that 1000th episode a couple weeks ago. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to,
Yeah.
you know, that show was great.
Yeah,
you
but
know?
I think people can't sit there and expect to have all those legends show up all the time, because that's what made
Right.
that show so special. Was all that different, all the different legends.
Yeah.
And not even what they were doing, but just the possibility of them being there. That kept the excitement going, because you never know what's going to come.
Right.
Um,
3 hours, you know, it's a long time, man.
yeah, they had
They
a lot of good in-ring action. You know, I know I talked about the Divas match wasn't one of my favorites. It was a little choppy.
Yeah.
I don't like what they're doing with Christian at all.
Oh yeah, I didn't like that at all this past week.
Yeah, he's too talented of a guy to be in that position. But
Yeah,
that's where they're lacking star power. You know, they really are just. You know, they got a lot of bodies, but they really got to let some of these guys loose too. You know, everything is so scripted for these guys. None of them can really cut loose.
Mm-hmm.
Even their social media stuff is so. While that might not be scripted like their promos are, it's monitored. They can't really be themselves. If they do anything outrageous to get in trouble, and I'm not even talking about the Abraham Washington thing. Obviously, you shouldn't make rape jokes.
Right.
Especially in their corporate now. There's a PG era. I can tell you from experience, you don't need to be getting in trouble. And rape jokes too. And I was talking to Big Daddy Mike Maverick about this. When it's a rape joke about a rape that actually happened, that's even worse.
Right.
You know, it ain't even just a prison shower rape joke. You know, like that comedians have made 1,000,000 times, and ain't even one of those. But when you make a rape joke about an actual rape, whether it was a convicted rapist or whatever, you know, there still was a victim involved.
Right.
You know, allegedly or not. You know, so I mean that. It's best just to stay away from rape jokes, I think. If any guys watching and do a lot of mic work, that might be beneficial just to stay away. And I think he knew that, but I don't know if he necessarily should have been fired for that. But
I do agree with you though. If they would turn some of these guys loose,
yeah,
you never know what you might find, right?
Yeah, I mean, totally.
You know, if everybody's limited to scripted, you know, you can't see the real them at times, you know.
Yeah, because all you're getting is what the writers write.
Right, that's right.
That's all you're getting is a writer's vision. You don't get. I mean, there's so many. I mean, the even now the best guys that they have, you know, are guys that really did it their way. Right. Whether you like Cena or not, him doing all that rapping shit is what got him over, and that was Cena doing it. Mm-hmm. You know, Shawn, Hunter, Taker, all the guys that are still their go-to guys. Punk, you know, Punk perfected his craft way before he got there. You know, all that. I mean, he was always that good on the mic, just never really had a chance before.
Right.
You know, I was there when they were making him do promo class, and they would make, you know, certain guys do this little silly promo class. And I was like, well, these guys can talk. You know, they don't need to fucking do promo class. You need to get guys that can't fucking talk right. do a promo class. I guess it is. I guess it is what it is. You know, it's very odd. You know, the Daniel Bryan thing is that's always a pleasure to watch, man.
Yeah,
It's so cool to see him just blowing up like he is.
Mm-hmm.
The talent's there. I mean, I tell you, if you'd have, I don't know him personally, but I met him a couple times, and I've known of him for a long time. But if you ever told me he would have been this over in the WWE, I would have just guaranteed you'd have been wrong. So I'm so glad that I'm right. I'm so glad that I wasn't right in that situation. I mean, it's very cool. That yes is getting over, and now he's getting no over. It's so crazy, man. It's hard to call him a heel. If he comes out, the crowd blows up. I know he's written as a heel, and he's got that. He's kind of walking that line.
Yeah, his Monday was wow.
Crowd blows up.
Yeah,
it was up there with any reaction on the show.
Yeah.
I don't care who you're talking about.
Yeah.
And it could have been, might very well been the biggest reaction on the show.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Because now Punk's walking that line with kind of being heelish-esque, but still staying true to his character, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that, I think that makes it a little bit more interesting. And man, it was a decent show. I thought the ending was a little iffy. The Brock Shawn Hunter thing was it was okay.
I wasn't big on the blackout.
No, I was like, man, we've been waiting for this all night, and we get a blackout screen. But then it came back, and actually they did a little bit in ring, so that kind of brought it back for me. Of course, Shawn did a great sell job. No surprise there.
Right.
It's really odd the way Brock ran, though. I didn't like that. That was the one thing that was a disconnect.
Oh, he got right out of the ring, didn't he?
Yeah, and I understand trying to be a chicken shit and laughing about it, but I don't see him running away from anybody. That was the part that was really weird for me, and I might be nitpicky, and I don't mean to be, but fuck, I guess I didn't mean to be. Ain't like I said that by accident, but yeah, that was the part that's where I am. But like, what the fuck is he running for? Why don't you just turn around and beat him up? He broke his arm, not too long ago. Why is he running for Hunter? So, and I guess the storyline might be that he's playing head games is why he did that. But I think that could have been done a little bit differently because he took the fuck off like he was scared.
Yeah, he did. He got right the fuck out of it.
Yeah, so but
and Paul's always great on the mic.
God,
Can he not work that thing? Wow,
he's good. He's good.
Unbelievable.
No, it's a secret to promos, and if you're listening or watching, the secret to promos is believe what you say, even if it's fucking ridiculous. If you don't believe it, the crowd will know. Like no matter what you're saying, you have to believe that shit. I mean, that's what from personal experience. That's what made the Hurricane work. I believe that shit, or at least and people could tell that I like what I was doing, and I said it like I believed it. I couldn't have gone out there half-assed in a silly gimmick like that. And I mean everything that Paul says, you get the feeling that he believes it.
Oh,
and that's what makes it work. That's what makes any promo work. Believe what you say. So it's easier when you're saying some shit you really believe too. Now that makes it a lot easier. So.
Right.
So that was very good. But it was good, man.
It's going to be interesting to see what TNA brings to the table tonight.
TNA's coming on tonight. Hopefully we'll have this uploaded by then. The uploads on these things is terrible. Man, it takes fucking forever. The Shelly Martinez episode is corrupt. The file is corrupt. It wasn't that great of an episode.
It's corrupt.
Yeah. It wasn't my favorite one anyway. It was long as shit, very crazy. I think I would want to do one with those two again and try to redo it, but we got to figure it out.
How did I wasn't able to make the Chavo one.
Chavo was great. These are all available on iTunes. Go to iTunes, type in Highway2Helms all together. It should pop right up. You can actually, I think, type in Shane Helms too and it'll pop up. Past guests include Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy. Who else? C.W. Anderson, Caprice Coleman from Ring of Honor. The Lizard Lick Towing guys from True TV, guys and gals. Derek Brunson from Strike Force we just had. We got a couple big names coming up too. So bada boom, bada boom. I think we're good, man. This one's going pretty long too. I got to learn to cut these things down, man. I get caught up in the conversation too, especially with a guy like Josh.
It's interesting though.
I know. I can sit there and listen to him for fucking ever. All that crazy shit. Just going like that story with Eric Cameron's crazy. Like you can imagine having your first professional wrestling match in Japan.
In Japan. God almighty.
I gotta
not being ready.
Not being ready, ill prepared. The guy you train
5 days before, you got to train on your own.
Yeah, train on your fucking own. Oh my God, yeah, I definitely got to get Eric on the show, man. That'd be a great story, but
wow,
man, God, Josh told me he's got little hands. You see that fucking hand on that guy?
Yeah, he's got big hands.
Last thing in the world I want to do is get hit by that motherfucker.
He's got big hands. So
But,
our boy Brunson fights Saturday.
right, fight Saturday night. This Saturday, I think it's on Showtime. Strike Force.
Yep.
Ronda Rousey's fighting.
She's the main event, I believe, right?
Sarah Kaufman is the who she's fighting, I believe. And then of course Brunson's fighting Jacare. There's another good one on there. I can't remember, man. I got too much shit going on. Too many irons in the fire.
And that's Saturday. Yeah,
Saturday night, and I'll be in Milwaukee grappling Saturday.
Are you just there just Saturday or Friday and Saturday?
No, Saturday and Sunday. I'm
Saturday,
there.
Sunday.
I'll be wrestling Saturday night, and Sunday
then
I'll be doing a SummerSlam party. The details will be on ShaneHelms.com tonight. So anyway, thanks everybody that's downloading this and listening to this and all that stuff. I just found out, man, like, cause I would never like download the shows because I already lived through them, but it was saved them in my video file. So if you're looking in the music section on your iPhone, they're not in there. They're in the video section. I should know that. This is a video pod. Seems like I don't know that. Yeah. But anyway, once again, thanks everybody, and we'll see you guys perhaps next week. Who's our next guest?
Yeah, you tell me. We ain't even had a Wednesday night.
No, we ain't doing them. We done doing them live. This format is so much better. It's so much clearer. No lag. I can do all my graphics. I can do music. I actually can do video clips, which is we got some cool stuff planned for the show.
Wow.
Next level stuff. This is how all podcasts are going to end up being.
Gotcha. So do you
head of the curve.
Next?
Head of the curve. I'm going to confirm what I'm going to have next. I need to confirm that tomorrow.
Okay, gotcha.
So it'll be a surprise. It'll be announced on Twitter at ShaneHelms.com. You can see on the screen Michael Yamaha and Josh Barnett was the guest tonight. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Heaven forbid.
It's Highway to Helms.
Another day, another dollar as I holler to the world. I love the way I'm living, love the Gucci, love the girls, love the parties and the club, love the models and hot tubs, love the German engineering set on deep dish dubs. Another tour around the world, entertaining the fans. I love walking through the airport, taking pictures, shaking hands. Every day for me's an oyster, crack it open, find a pearl. I love the way I'm living, is what I holler to the world. Wake up.